Just outside Edinburgh, and we're overlooking the Firth of Forth. And this is very historic in the life and times of the Howard family.
During the last year of Edward's reign, John Howard was involved in the Anglo-Scottish War, where he served as King's Lieutenant and Captain at sea under Gloucester. He commanded the English fleet in a successful navy action in the Firth of Forth, in the course of which he captured and burnt the Scottish fleet. This is one of the earliest great English naval victories. Howard's flagship was called the Mary Howard, and his personal experiences on the expedition are recorded in his household books.
Hey, Megan, look up and smile at me.
Very good, Megan. And there it is. The Firth of Forth. We are now standing in Scottish soil, and Brent will now walk into England. We entered England on March 27th, 1997. Here's the last vestige of the Howard family.
Invading France in the summer of 1513, he feared that James VI of Scotland would attack England as a gesture of solidarity with the French. His concern was justified as the army of James IV crossed the border on the 22nd of August. After laying siege to and capturing Norham and Ford castles camped at Flodden Hill, 2 miles southeast of him. In a virtually impregnable position, meanwhile Henry's Lieutenant General in the north of England, Thomas Howard, Earl of Surrey, marched his army to war, arriving on the 6th of September. The battle started in the late afternoon and was over quickly. The first hand-to-hand fighting took place on the English right. The Lord Holmes Borderers and Huntley Highlanders inflicted early losses on the English before being repelled by Lord Daphne's horsemen. Almost immediately afterwards, the division led by Crawford, Arrow, and Montrose closed with the Lord Admiral's troops, and James' men bore down with their long spears on Surrey's contingent. James led his troops into battle and fought courageously before being cut down. The right wing of the Scottish army was the last to be attacked by Sir Edward Stanley, who had managed to advance unnoticed by the Scots. The battle was short, and up to 10,000 Scots died, including James IV and most of his noblemen. Earl of Surrey was rewarded for his victory by being reinstated as Duke of Norfolk, a title he had lost at the Battle of Flodden.
The dead are principally buried in that church. And around in the fields. This is Branxton England.
The Battle of Flodden was fought on the ground immediately to the south of the church, between a large Scottish army led by the King James IV and an English army led by the Earl of Surrey, and in absence of the King, Henry VIII, who was at the time heavily engaged in France. The engagement took place on the 9th of September 1513 and resulted in a very great slaughter on both sides and a decision win for the English. The bodies of men and horses are buried all over the area. Along with many of the Scottish nobility, King James was killed, and his body was brought to this church to lie overnight.
So the King of Scotland was brought here, killed by the Howards. Megan, it's that simple. And there it is.
They had a job to do, and they did it well. Very moving, very, very inspirational.